Bitcoin history is exactly repeating. Once again, we are topping out exactly at the end of the 4-year cycle, like we have seen in 2017 and 2021. So, what is going to be next from Bitcoin here, and what could potentially break this 4-year cycle? That is what we need to discuss within today's update video. But we will discuss a lot more, like all of the most important Bitcoin and Ethereum price data, and I will give a big update on my Bitcoin and Ethereum trading positions. So from there, guys, make sure to first of all subscribe to the channel, watch and like my latest YouTube videos, and then we can dive into the most important content. Since crypto and Bitcoin history is exactly repeating, once again topping out at the ending stage of the 4-year cycle in the last quarter of the post-halving year, Bitcoin is moving down again, just like we saw in 2017 and 2021. So what is going to be next for Bitcoin here? And for this, we should look into what happened for Bitcoin here with the 50 weekly moving average, because we clearly broke below this important bull market support level. We even closed the weekly candle above it, and history shows us that usually after this happens in the last quarter of the post-halving year, we do enter a bear market. So the historical data shows us that a bear market is going to be next here. But the historical data is also showing something else, which is quite important. And that is potentially a relief rally for Bitcoin here in the near future. Because once Bitcoin breaks that 50 weekly moving average during the post-halving year, like it's now once again doing in 2025, we usually do see a relief rally after that. And that is quite a big one, usually back to the 50 weekly moving average once again. We saw it here in 2014, 2017, 2021 and 2025. We are probably going to see the same once again for Bitcoin, and that is something I'm also targeting on with my Bitcoin trading positions, but I will explain a little bit more about that later in today's update video. And if Bitcoin is going to get rejected from off the 50 weekly moving average after the relief rally, we can most definitely expect a far larger move down and the true start of the bear market, in my personal opinion. Of course, the bear market did already start if this is going to be the scenario, but from off the relief rally we usually do see a larger move back to the downside. So that is something you do want to be aware of and you do want to be prepared for, in my personal opinion. Bitcoin is exactly bouncing from off the support levels we have been talking about in yesterday's update video. We saw quite a nice wick there, now once again bouncing back to the top side, and seems like Bitcoin is looking to reclaim the yearly open. I would say that it is going to be positive for Bitcoin if we can be closing the weekly candle above the yearly open here. That is going to show some positive momentum for Bitcoin, and I would get somewhat excited about Bitcoin reclaiming those levels. I'm not saying from there we are so back, but from there I think there's a possibility we could see somewhat of a relief rally back to the top side, because Bitcoin is clearly quite oversold and somewhat of a bounce should be following in the near future. And then, like stated in the intro, what could potentially be breaking this Bitcoin 4-year cycle? And that is of course the dead cross. We have been talking about the dead cross in earlier update videos, and a lot of people were very bullish on this dead cross because it did mark the bottom in the 5 previous times. After the 5 previous dead crosses, we always saw a move back to the top side over the last few years. But now the dead cross did occur at the ending stage of the post-halving year, and that is something I have been warning about on the channel even before the dead cross occurred, like you can see on the chart here. During the post-halving years, where you do see the dead cross at the ending stage of the cycle, it is usually the beginning of the bear market, or actually the bear market did already start at that moment, because the dead cross is a lagging indicator. So this is going to be very important to understand, and it seems like this is the most likely scenario for Bitcoin now, and not really another bounce from off the dead cross. But if Bitcoin is going to bounce back from off this dead cross, and if we can be making new all-time highs, then you can clearly say that the 4-year cycle is going to be broken. But for now, it's not looking like that is going to be the case once again for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is clearly getting very oversold. Also on the daily RSI, we are rapidly approaching bear market levels, which is quite insane. The lowest level since 2023, since the start of 2023. That is definitely quite insane, and shows you that a Bitcoin bounce is going to be likely in the next few days here, I personally think, because now Bitcoin is getting quite oversold, and a bounce doesn't have to mean we are going to bounce back to all-time highs. It could be a relief rally, it could be a very small bounce, but it seems like Bitcoin is indeed finding some support below the yearly open here, which is now something positive I can be seeing on the charts. And now I do want to discuss some very important news we saw hitting the market yesterday. And that is that the US jobless claims once again came in higher than expected. So the labor market keeps on weakening, which is going to be a very important data point once again for those rate cut odds for the 10th December FOMC meeting and of course the new interest rate decision. And yesterday, after we saw this data coming out, we saw the rate cut odds for a 25 BPS rate cut coming up ever so slightly once again, and that was also the exact moment when Bitcoin was starting to bounce a little bit. So this is indeed very important data for Bitcoin, and a rate cut is going to be bullish and could be igniting somewhat of that relief rally back to the top side, I personally think, like we have been talking about. Today we are going to see more data coming in with the FOMC minutes at 2 p.m. Eastern time and the Nvidia earnings at 5 p.m. Eastern time. Of course, the FOMC minutes are going to be important to see if the Fed does have a hawkish or more dovish standpoint now. Traders are now expecting more of a hawkish standpoint, so it's going to be very important and interesting, and the Nvidia earnings are going to be critical for the US stock market, of course, because Nvidia is by far the biggest company within the US stock market. But for now, traders think that Nvidia is going to beat the quarterly earnings once again. But we can most definitely be expecting some market volatility later today, this evening. Not only today, but also tomorrow we have some very important data coming out, with on Thursday here the non-farm payrolls and the unemployment rate. That is crucial labor market data and very important data points for the Federal Reserve to make their interest rate decisions on. So I will be live streaming this data, but also the FOMC minutes tonight. Make sure to come over to the channel, subscribe to the channel, put on your notifications for the next live stream, and then we can be talking about these important data points in real time when they will be hitting the markets, because it is going to cause some volatility and it is going to be very important for these rate cut odds. So make sure you don't miss out on exactly that. Also, in my VIP Telegram group, I'm also updating about all of this important data, my trading positions, both my Bitcoin and Ethereum trading positions, for example the stop losses I was setting just 2 days ago. All of this important data I'm dropping real time in the VIP Telegram group. Not only me, not only I'm active here, but also Crypto Rover and 5 professional other traders. So there's a lot of value in this private community. Make sure to come and check it out here with the link in the description on this update video. There you can join the VIP group for more updates on my trading positions and my thoughts on the market. Make sure to come over there. And now I do want to give a big update on my Bitcoin and Ethereum trading positions, because for Bitcoin I'm now in a loss on 3 of my limit orders, with both got filled, 1 got stopped out earlier. Make sure to check out the other videos, but personally I think if there's a rally going to occur, we can be moving towards the 100k level, maybe a little bit high, because probably we are going to move towards the 50 weekly moving average again with the relief rally, because that's exactly what history is showing us. And if that's going to be the case, I can still be making a profit on all of these trading positions, and that's also going to be the moment where I will be closing my trading positions. So make sure to also join that VIP channel, where I can be updating on when I will be exiting this trading position, and of course much more. About Ethereum, I'm filled on 3 of my 4 limit orders. I still have my 2.8k limit order open, and I simply think if Bitcoin is going to see a relief bounce back to the top side, Ethereum could be seeing a more aggressive one, and then we can be also making a nice profit on our Ethereum trading position. And if you do want to join me on my Ethereum position or trade a lot of other different altcoin pairs on LBank here, make sure to come out to the description on this YouTube video. Check out the link here, because there you can claim a 50% deposit bonus and a $100 bonus. But that's not all. You can be claiming a 50% deposit bonus, like stated, up to 2.5k, but also a generous refund up to 5k on your first trading position. So make sure to come and check it out and claim your bonus with the link in the description under this update video, because I personally think that this is going to be a moment where you do want to be claiming a bonus like this, because you want to long at support and not at resistance. So this is indeed going to be an interesting moment to open some trading positions on Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins and much more. And LBank is most definitely offering an amazing bonus where you can be doing so with. Of course, in no way financial advice. do your own research, but I think it is quite a nice bonus from Albank here, and you can find it here with the link in the description under this update video. Now back to the Ethereum chart, which will be the final chart we discuss this update video. Since Ethereum is still hanging on this crucial support level, and as long as Ethereum is not going to lose this level, probably my 2.8 limit core order is also not going to get filled, and we won't be falling back towards the range high of this previous consolidation range, which I think is going to be next if Ethereum does break this support level. And Ethereum is also trading slightly below its 50 weekly moving average, which does look a lot stronger than Bitcoin actually, but it's also not what we do want to see. We want Ethereum to be reclaiming that 50 weekly moving average and then be making a bounce back and relief rally back to the top side before it's probably going to come down ever so slightly more in a potential bear market. That's what I'm looking for Ethereum, but to be honest, we can do a lot of analysis on Ethereum itself, but I think the Bitcoin performance is going to be much more important in the next few days and weeks from here. So that was it for today's update video. If you did enjoy today's update video, if you did learn something from it, make sure to subscribe to the channel, watch and like my latest YouTube videos, and then I will see you guys within my next update video tomorrow.